one slide for me, please? Go back 2 slides for me, please. Oh, no, sorry, I wanted that other one, you're right, go forward a slide, that one. Because I want, in terms of, I tend to think of these presentations in terms of talking points, in terms of what I get really excited about, in terms of what all the things she just said. And so if you think about this as basically a flat budget, right? So yes, it's decreased $15,000, but it's a flat budget from that standpoint. And so they are using the same resources, so even with inflation it's going down, and providing more than 1,100 additional devices.
Wow.
So that is not the replacement leasing piece of keeping them up to date and making sure that the ones that need to be replaced are replaced that are already in system, right? There are more than 800 new laptops and almost 350 new iPads going in K through 6, because it's either the one-to-one at the middle school level or it's the elementary pieces. And so keeping this, and so that's 1,100, it's actually 1,146 for those of you playing along at home, in terms of new devices going in without a personnel increase, right? Which in the tech world is unheard of in terms of that support. Now we're going to need to monitor that, because that actually scares me a little bit in terms of the middle school piece and the one-to-one. But really, in talking to Diane and her department, they really have found some efficiencies in terms of how they're helping through the one-to-one. They're getting better at it, right? We're learning the one-to-one business better than we did 2-3 years ago, as it moves to the middle school level. And so it just really, as you think about, it's a flat budget item. And so again, that focus on where are those resources going? They're going into the classroom and into hands of teachers and kids, and we're trying to control everything else. And so it really, that's kind of the big hug for this presentation in terms of how awesome that is, that we can put more than 1,100 new devices, new additional devices into our classrooms without a budget increase in that level. And that is just really, really awesome. So I just want to say thank you and make sure that we recognize that.
Thank you.
So,
That's awesome.
Great, thank you.
I only have one comment. I
Yes.
know it is what it is. I think you and I have talked. I'm not a fan of moving the 2 positions into permanent positions. We contracted them last year for a reason. And I think that they should remain as contracted positions. This is just my other comment.
What would their titles be?
Field Tech 1. So they're Field Tech 1.
Gotcha.
So would that go through personnel too?
I'm sorry, what was that?
That change that you're talking about, would that be going through personnel?
So that was, so those positions are in the personnel budget.
From last night?
No, there's nothing.
That's budget. That was strictly the job descriptions.
And those were not included in what we reviewed.
Those were just the 4 that we
We already have the job description in place for that
Correct.
position. So how we got to this step was last year, as Diane said, when we were in the budgeting process, we came to you and we actually had two new positions in the personnel budget. And the board said to us, why don't you contract them for a year. We'll do a try and buy situation. If we like the people, then we can bring them on next year as personnel. If we don't like them, we go try something else. We moved to the next step through this process and presented that to you because we think we found 2 very good people that provide a great service to the district and have really meshed well within the district. Our history with these positions, we had 1 or 2 of these positions outsourced over a period of time, and unfortunately our history was, I think in the first 2 years I was here, we had 3 or 4 different people in that position. When we got somebody trained, we got them up and running, they would leave the district, they would leave the contracting company because they found something that had benefits and was a permanent situation. And we suffered a great deal through that process just because as we trained them, they left us. And we were finally able to get that position over to a permanent employee within the district, and we have not had that situation, so, through our discussions with you last year, that's why we made the move this year to put them into the personnel budget based on what we had talked about last year in the budget process, so.
So, but will that be a vote?
They would have to be voted on to be hired, so they would have to be on the superintendent's personnel listing.
No, but I mean to change the positions to being, because you're changing them from contracted positions.
Yeah, to hire them from a contractor to an employee, the board would have to vote on that hire. So it would be in the
Right, but
person.
that's different than changing the position, right? Because then you're denying a person you're denying a person rather than denying a position.
I think the funds will be allocated from what they were previously in this year's budget,
Correct.
or this budget as opposed to last year's budget, that's right. I think.
So
money was
So
it
they-
seems to me
correct.
though, we've had this situation where every time we've contracted out positions, we get the same kind of, these people are really great, so now we're gonna switch them over to our employees. So it sounds like the company that's giving us employees is giving us really good employees, because every time we're saying the same thing, that these people are really great.
Not necessarily.
Well, I mean, I haven't seen us say, hey, let's not keep these people every single time. It's been, let's keep these people.
We have had, one or two that we actually
Let
sent.
go.
We let go. They just didn't work out.
And the history, when it was contracted services, is the turnover was, I don't know what the right adjective is, or I guess adverb, greatly increased.
Correct.
In terms of, different from when there are people. In terms of, are people leaving for other opportunities? Doesn't happen frequently, but the contracted people leaving for other services, for other jobs,
Yeah, we've lost
was
three.
far more common.
We lost 3 in 1 year, which was rough,
The
because
market
you're
is
training,
not right now.
And part of the
You're
recommendation is
training
that these two actual people, because we actually know who they
Mhm.
are strong people.
Absolutely,
So
very
I guess my
confident.
point to this is we could, at the current structure, we could pay them more money, because that's what people are here for, money primarily, that's what motivates most of us. We could pay them more money and not incur the 30-year liability of medical and pension.
Same for like a year.
Well, you're gonna lose them anyway. If you keep the pay structure the same, you're gonna lose them anyway. The benefits are comparable to other, corporate structures. You're gonna lose them anyway, if it's a pay problem. And then we'll be back here next year talking about we need to increase the pay to keep these people.
In the
So-
last 4 years, we've lost
Correct.
one of our hired techs that went somewhere else, and he went to the IU.
Yes.
He went to the IU, and kind of got a promotion and moved to the IU. Other than that, all of our Penn Ridge employee techs have been consistent in the last 4 years.
But to Bill's point, we didn't, that is what happened. A year later, you came back and said that they're doing so well that the pay got increased, and probably that's why. So I think he's predicting exactly what, because
Yeah,
that was
Mike-
what happened last year.
Mike was not a contractor. He was not a contracted employee, the one who went to the IU.
I'm not talking about that one. I'm talking about the other ones.
That's-
Yeah.
I can tell you both perspectives. I've been a contractor and I've been an employee. I make a lot more money as a contractor. I went back to being a contractor. It's just reality. I make more money.
So you could bump the pay structure to keep them
Absolutely.
happy. And
Makes me
have
happy.
the long-term liability.
You're an independent contractor, or do you
No,
work for
I
Ford?
work through somebody and I was, every year I'll talk to me like,
Which
Marvin's
is
really
what
good.
which is the same as this. This is the same situation where they work for the company. So that's
And
basically
what,
what you
and what
do.
would be the difference if we brought them on as our own contracted position? I mean, we're paying somebody else,
Mhm.
which may be giving them, some benefits to some level, depending on the structure. Right? You've seen that, or maybe you already have that, in your structure. What would be would there be a benefit to bringing them on as our contracted? And again, providing some incentive to those individuals with a bump in pay, and it would keep our overall costs about the same, maybe a little less, maybe
Well, we're not gonna we're not gonna maintain two techs on a contracted service and pay them more than the existing techs in terms of wage. Right, from that, we're not gonna have people doing the exact same work and have, because we're paying these people benefits, we're gonna pay these people extra salary.
Okay.
And the recommendation is what it is because of the two people and the amount of work that needs to be done, right? We did look through the tickets will be higher this year, and they'll again be higher again next year. Because we're putting in 1,100 more devices.
We're driving the devices.
And so from that standpoint, without the personnel increase, but to solidify these two high-quality employees is why the recommendation is what it is in terms of bringing them on board.
To retain the salary
Henry, to keep.
and then train.
Right, and I understand a year ago why the conversation was, let's give it a shot, right? Because we really did try to buy, right? And
Correct.
so we've tried in this instance, but there have been, is what I'm hearing, instances in the past where perhaps have not come to the board, where when we tried, we didn't buy and moved on to somebody else, as well as those people more frequently leaving because they don't have the security of, I'm here, right? The school districts are secure. People feel good about jobs in school districts. They don't often feel that way through contracted work because that's much more year to year, right? Because these conversations happen. So that is why we're recommending that these two individuals be brought on full time.
And I'll make that even muddier for you because with Peter's rules, we can contract through a company, like we do for our substitutes, like we do for these folks. But we can't contract ourselves for people that we also have as employees.
Right, yes.
It's the same, yeah, and then Caesars looks at that and says, you can't do that, you gotta,
Right.
so when you add the Peters on top of everything.
You do, absolutely,
Absolutely, you do, and I understand that. And our world, your world's crazy and our world's crazy.
In a different way.
Yeah.
Not get it.
Yeah. Rick, give me up. The next one.
Move the clip. Moving on. Who's up
Oh, I thought you were going, John.
All right.
next? We go on.
I don't want to talk to back here. And I need to make sure that I keep recording.
First script was 4 minutes.
All right. You guys have been here for 2.5 hours, so
Yeah.
we try to listen up as I can. Okay. So here we are in April, the 1920 proposed budget. A couple things I want to go through with you tonight. District capital project funds, debt service, status of 1920 budget, and as I put on every one of my presentation, what's our path. So capital projects fund, we came into the fiscal year $19.7 million. We had about $1.7 million of last summer's projects to pay off this fiscal year. Fiscal year closes on June 30, July 1st, so they always go over the fiscal year. Next summer, summer of 19, the bids that we just approved, $5.3 million. The year 20 through 25 projects from the capital projects plan is another $10.6 million. $750,000 set aside for the stuff that we just talked about, technology. That will do it, plus, anything else that may come our way. Leaves us with $1.2 million, if we don't add any additional dollars out through 2025. So, capital projects funding right now is in pretty solid shape. They get us
You're gonna get us hard copies of this, Mr. Dowd?
this. Yes. We'll post it tomorrow, and
That wasn't my question.
I'll have Jackie.
I can read it here, right? I prefer to have
Actually,
hard.
I have one in my folder I can hand you. Okay. Debt service, we have 5 more years at our roughly $13 million debt service payment. The blue is the principal, and the yellowish ugly color, whatever that is the interest. And you can see as,
Texas bird orange.
yeah, as you go out, the blue goes up and the orange comes down. That's how you like to see it. Then we have year 2025 where it drops in half to about $6 million. And then the next year it goes down to about $4 million and maintains that for 4 years. And then after that drops to about $627,000. And that actually goes out to the year 2044. That debt is the VOTEC debt. When we get here, we finished paying off all the Penn Ridge debt.
Yes.
And we just have the VOTEC debt that's sitting there. This is an opportunity for some refinancing and some reshuffling and maybe, and this was built this way based on a stacking method. So the thought would have been when they put all this debt in place that the district would do more projects, need more debt, and then they would just build it on top of these levels out here. So they were trying to keep the $13.5 million steady and then tacking it on and building it, building it as it went out. But the district did, really two things. It stopped building and stopped renovating because it ran out of projects. Plus, the very important thing is we started funding our own capital projects internally and stopped borrowing money. So that's why that looks that way. So this is an opportunity to move some debt and save some interest out here. But we'll see how that looks when we get closer to that period of time. So that is on the horizon, okay?
Well, and that's why the six-year capital projects plan is so important,
Yep.
because if you borrow more debt in these 6 years, all you're gonna do is keep stacking that across.
Stacking it up.
And so this ends it, and lets us prioritize so that, any of those bigger expenses we can actually pay for as we go, rather than
Yes.
borrowing our money and putting it out there.
Exactly. Now, if something big does happen, something terrible happens and we need to do something massive with a building or something like that, we have the space, the capacity out here to put the debt in place also. It's not gonna be a big, huge impact on the budget if we hadn't put debt in place.
I think the only problem with the stacking method though is when you're delaying a loan to start, like your payments to start back on a loan, you just accrue interest
You pay some
on
more
interest for years until you get to that next stack.
Yeah.
So that's part of the problem.
Yeah, you're paying interest to be able to delay the principal payment in order to offset the impact of raising taxes.
And then
So that's-
when you look at how much you borrowed, by how much you compare that to in the end, it's a big difference. And if you look at the last couple of loans that got taken out, and that's exactly what happened. And then, that's why this would be so important if we could pay as we go, and then it would be a lot less the first time, right?
Not gonna build a high school or even a middle school without borrowing money.
Yeah, but there's other things.
Maybe not even an elementary school, this current
I
cost.
don't think you can.
I mean, you're talking tens of millions of dollars
40 to 50 million probably
for
for
an elementary school in this day and age.
probably 100 to 150 million for our high school is that.
600 students is 40 to 50. Okay.
You guys good with this one?
Yeah.
All right, Act One Index, just to show you again, what it is, what it means. We're at 135.255. Index is 2.3%, would be about a 3.11 mill tax increase. Average would be just under $100 per homeowner based on the median assessed value for the homestead farmstead. Good news, and it would be about 1.9 million. Good news is we don't need it.
Right.
I'd like you to keep it in your, I like to keep showing it to you, just even tell you we don't need it. Okay, Act One Index history. I want to show you, here's the index over the last number of years, and here we are at 2.3. The thing I wanted to show you about this one is next year they're predicting 2.3, and they being PDE. The following year, it's actually predicted to go up to 2.8, 3.0, and 3.2. So PD is predicting that the index is going to start to grow.
And what is causing that prediction to be? Because for years it's been under 3%, and then
Wage growth.
so
Here's your
Well,
here's-
wage growth, right, because it's a combination of two sets of wage indices.
It's a combination of statewide average weekly wage, and they're showing it to grow. I'm
It's
doing
a touch
touching.
screen.
And employment cost index,
Drives the wage increase.
It's creepy, isn't it?
and then it's average between those two.
Well, part of that's the economy, the economy is getting better, so wages are going up, so that's what.
Well, and the full employment and all of that goes into it.
Good. Revenue changes since last month alone, expenditure changes none, and we're still balanced with no tax. Just a revenue summary, same things I said last month, almost $104 million of our revenue comes from local and 32.7 from the state. And expenditure summary, same pretty chart, it's on the peak. This is a new one. This is the positions that we've changed around within the budget. So all these changes are funded within the budget that was in place in the current year. So we have assistant superintendents, 2 positions, previous positions, director of admin, director of curriculum. New 4 curriculum supervisors, that was 6 curriculum supervisors, 3 instructional coaches. We're redistributing current funds from the savings and the changes to pay for those. STEM/gifted teachers, 2.6 of those. They're in this current year budget as STEM/Spanish positions. Lunchroom playground aides, 14 of those positions. We're using the redistribution of the savings from these other changes to pay for that. School police officer/director of security was a security guard. School police officer was a security guard, and part-time security guard. We're using the redistribution of the funds from the changes there to make this group of changes that based on Dr. Bolton's plan. So.
I think that, I love this chart,
Yeah.
because it really highlights how much more support we're putting directly into the classroom with kids.
Exactly.
And, and how much more time we're giving teachers to work with kids and do enrichment and remediation with all that extra time for them to pull kids, so.
Yeah.
I'm
So
excited about that.
that's your superintendent's plan. So if you want to do an applause now. Okay, and these are the new requested positions in the budget that the board has talked about and agreed to do. We got the one guidance counselor at the middle school to increase the guidance capacity there. We have the teaching assistant at the high school in life skills. We have a half a speech therapist due to our enrollment in that program, and we have the half cap room aide based on the program expansion so that we can do more with the online kids and pull more of those kids back from those outside charter schools and side schools.
And that's the same that you saw last month. There's nothing new there. We just wanted to put it in 2 slides that you saw, kind of new money and reallocated money is kind of those 2 slides.
Budget timeline, here we are in April. Some things happen at the state. Budget secretary is going to tell us how much is in the property tax relief fund. They're supposed to tell us by May 1st how much we're going to get, but we'll get the letter on May 23rd, and it'll be dated May 1st. Our next meeting is.
But I'm sure it'll be postmarked the right date, right?
Okay, no, they don't worry about that, they just date whatever they want. Next finance meeting is May 7th. We will have Dr. Scheid here that night to go over her budgets. We need to do the first vote on this balanced budget with no tax increase on May 13th. And then we do our advertising and all that good stuff. June 11th is the next finance meeting. We shouldn't really have anything to do that night with the budget. And then June 17th will be the great night where we passed the budget, which is balanced with the tax. And then that gives us time to start cranking out tax bills and get them into the taxpayers' hands by July 1st. So that's why we do earlier meetings in May and June. So, okay, anybody have anything?
Good job. It's clear.
Excellent job.
This is, you're very excited.
Yeah, good job.
Excellent
Thank
job.
you. Thank you, Dr. Bolt. Thank you, Sean.
Well, I have to say that I've lived through this process in 3 school districts as an administrator, right? Because obviously as a teacher, you see it differently, but as an administrator in 3 school districts. And I have to say that the level of detail that Mr. Dahlberg and Ms. Light primarily are the 2 eyes that are going through it, with the department heads and the correct cabinet members, is far more detailed than I've seen in any other system. And so the conversation and the scrubbing of budgets and the conversation about why, and can that wait a year, and what is the purpose, and what are the goals, right? We really, most of these initiatives are tied to things that we know we want to do in the next 3 to 5 years. So you start moving towards that. But really, Mr. Dahlberg is the one who put this process in place and then has his department doing that. So it is not, I mean, it's awesome to see this, and it's great, and go, yeah, okay, for next month, it's still really good news. But I don't want us to lose the sight of the amount of work and the hours that are poured into that to make that happen. So I do. So, thank you.
No more word from the state on their budget.
No.
Peter, you say funny things.
Last year, they talked about moving forward to get it done by the 30th of June, which they did. Several other years they didn't, as we all know.
They're
Usually
talking.
they miss by a fair margin.
They're talking that game.
It's the end of June
Yeah.
this year.
Yeah, they're talking the game. Let's see what happens.
The strange part to me is you hear and see nothing about it, right? I mean, you say they're talking, but I see nothing in the paper, nothing in the technology coming across saying that this is what we're proposing, we don't like this that the governor proposed, but we want this. None of that.
Very strange process.
Yeah, well, right this moment, I think it's a very strange process.
I think, Dr. Gurnell, the more you hear from the public and in the newspapers, the worse the situation is in Harrisburg. I think when it's quiet and they say they're talking, they're actually meeting behind closed doors and they're actually talking about it. And when they're in the public fighting, you know they're really far apart. So, I hope it's a good.
So no news is good news.
I hope so. I'm an optimist. That's all I have.
All right. The next finance meeting is scheduled for May 7th. Any public comment?
I was gonna say, hopefully
The same rules apply as every single other time I read it.
Pardon me? Oh, okay, yeah, I get it. Sue Furlong, West Rock Hill Township. Will you be able to publish the detail behind your debt assumptions for the current and out years? What is the different bond issues and that type of thing? Can you publish that detail?
Yeah.
I'd like to see that. Other than that, congratulations on what appears to be a good balanced budget with no increase. I know that's not easy, and I know that it takes a lot of discipline, and I congratulate all of you. I'm very pleased, to say the least, and I hope it gets out there. Okay, I'll do my part to see what I can do, but you know, you deserve to be congratulated because it isn't easy to accomplish that. And like you say, have a reserve where, at least on the moderate sized capital issues, you can fund yourself and not incur the interest. You don't want to see that fund get too high because some people will tell you, you know, that it shouldn't be that high. I have mixed emotions about that. I understand why it's there, as long as it doesn't get too high. But no, it's a great budget, and you're to be congratulated. And I think you've sent the message as a board, you've received it as administrators, and together I think you've done a great job on that whole deal. So looking forward to next year. And again, the important thing is not just the money, but the fact that we are delivering to the students. You know, we're not cutting corners.